What's up, everybody? I'm Sal Kalani. This is Reggie Clean Shaven Steel.
Yeah.
You got to say,
and
nobody
welcome
can
to
see you.
Spitballin.
Don't you
And
know how a
welcome to
podcast works, Reg?
yeah, and
You
welcome
gotta
to
go.
Spitballin. Well, you said clean shaven, so I had to go ahead and
Yeah, but
show.
nobody can see yet.
Well, for those who are watching,
Not everybody's on the tube.
and for those who aren't watching, just imagine
For
Mr.
those who aren't,
Clean.
they just hear quiet. Like,
Just
what's going
imagine
on?
Mr. Clean, but black.
Mr. Black Clean.
And I'm wearing a new hat that my boy
Rocking some Mahershala Ali gear.
Yes, sir.
That
Shout out
only
to my
Reggie
man.
has gotten. I don't have mine yet. I'm still waiting.
He doesn't have his yours.
Yeah, I'll give my address to you. I like it like that when you like take the brim. Yeah. Available light. That's the name of it. Huh?
Yes, sir. Energy.
That one's a little more cool. I kind of like that one more.
You like this one? I got one more too that I'm gonna rock out.
All right, you should hook that up to me then.
We'll see. But hold on, real quick. I want to say shout out to my man Mahershala Ali. He been in the news recently with
Oh yeah, he almost left Blade.
I talked to him.
Oh, that was the dirt.
That was, I'm not gonna get deep into it, but I'll just say that was severely exaggerated.
Really?
Okay? There has been some frustration, right? The same frustration that we all feel as fans of the show who want to see it go into production and get it going. But everything surrounding things that you already know, writers, right? Not having the right writer, not finding the right director, having some issues with scheduling, and people got conflicts and things of that nature. And then the story development and which way the story was going.
So you saying Mahershala never considered leaving Blade?
I'm saying that he was frustrated, and that the reports that he almost left are severely exaggerated. So that's what I'll say. I'll say that.
That's the 411 on the Blade, ladies and gentlemen.
I will say this too. Way things are going now that the actor strike is over and the writer strike is over, and the things that they have in place, that I think they have in place going forward, I'm really excited about the project. I honestly think that this whole debacle, as far as like how it's played out, has actually played in its favor, because now, with different writers, with different takes, and with different directors and things of that nature, it's like I think they've really narrowed the story down. And we know now that it's going to be rated R, which is what it should have been. Exactly, which is what he pitched to them to do this thing when he wanted R rating. But then Disney was like, yo, we want to do something PG-13 because then we can get more kids and more people and there's larger markets. But it's Blade. The dude got katanas and Uzis. Yo, man, it's gotta be R-rated.
Right. If Deadpool is gonna be R-rated, you should make Blade. Yeah, I can see it. So does he have any parts that we could probably get in on this movie? I'd like to be in a Marvel movie.
Oh man, I would love to be in a Marvel movie.
All right, what's up?
I can't say that.
Keep the hat. Keep the hat. I want to get in the Marvel movie,
dude.
He could like kill me. He could be like, I'll be like a vampire or something. Just kill me off real quick.
That's funny. I'll say this, man. If anybody's gonna be in a Marvel movie first,
why can't we both be in it? We should be hanging out of the corner doing a podcast, and then someone kills us.
No. I want a speaking part, bro. Like I want lines.
Yeah, we'll be talking.
I want lines. Like I want lines. I want at least. I'll take under 5. I'll take an under 5. Give me. Let me just say, I don't care. I'm working at the counter of the hotel, right? And it's he went that away. He was right around that corner, right? Boom. I'm set for life, dude. It's a Marvel movie. It's gonna get streamed forever. I get a check every 2 weeks on something. Changed my life. But he ain't, he ain't Kevin Feige, right? He ain't calling the shots like that.
No, he's Mahershala Ali, though. He sounds like he's calling some shots.
He ain't calling. Now he can't determine who's gonna be in the movie and who's not, right?
You're like, put my boy Reg in.
Yeah, you make it sound like how people like to say LeBron is the GM. Who is LeBron gonna cut next?
Come on.
Like he ain't. Nah, it ain't that level.
Come on. Real quick, your buddy's in here, so we gotta. we gotta mention things, dude. We got the Browns. The Browns one. Is that what you want to talk about?
No, damn the Browns. That's your team.
They have nothing, man. They came from behind. We're down 14 in the 4th. Came up. The Deshaun Watson finally looked legit. The defense looked amazing.
That's what I was gonna say. Did Deshaun Watson play? but he
He
did.
played
Sounds like he
well.
did.
He did
Okay.
well. He at the end, the fucking Browns. This is the Browns, dude. They have the ball, they're up by a touchdown. Yeah, this time Lamar Jackson throws it, bounces off of Brown's helmet defender, flies up in the air. Brown's cornerback picks it off, takes it to the house for a touchdown, right?
Wow.
That tying extra point, the kicker misses. So we're down by 1 point. Then the defense stuffs them, right? Ends up finally stopping them. It took a little bit. And then the Browns, Deshaun Watson drives them down the field. Then we start running it down their throats. And then the guy kicks a game-winning field goal as time expires, and the Brownies win. Come back behind in Baltimore. And Baltimore's in first place in our division. It's a very big win for the Brownies.
Good job.
Next week we got the Steelers, so we'll see.
Nice. Way to go, Browns.
Congratulations, Brownies. There you go.
Congratulations, Brownies. Real quick, and then we're going to bring our buddy in. I don't know, for those who are watching, you can see I'm trying to get my Sal on. I'm trying to grow my beard.
Yeah, man, she looks horrible, dude. You look like Chet Holmgren.
It's the beginning, right?
You look like Chet Homeless Holmgren.
That's funny. That's funny. It's the beginning. It's starting to grow, and I got patches, but it's gonna have to fill in.
Well, look, so I won't even get to talk about Detroit or Indy. But no, I understand. I know. But I also wanted to talk about right-wing nut jobs.
Oh, we can't do it, man, because our guest.
Well, you see this guy's running for office, dude.
No way.
Yeah, the dude with the horns on his head is running for office.
Jeez, what's
wrong with this country, dude?
Dude, that's terrible. Wow, they really got everybody feeling like they can do it, right? They got everybody thinking that they can be.
What's wrong with this country? You let these idiots and these guys in court fucking are the ones like leading polls and shit. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's crazy, dude.
What's happening to America, man?
I don't know, man.
All right, so anyway,
the experiment's not working.
We'll talk more.
Well, our guest has he's got a time restraint because he's got an appointment, so we got to get him in.
Well, I'll send it in now. You should start bringing them in.
Okay, so I'm sorry for the rushed podcast this morning.
It's coming, dude. Just introduce them.
I am super excited. I'm super excited to introduce this person, this guy, this friend, this dude. I call him my brother. I've known this man for over 20 years. We're former teammates at St. Mary's College of California. I think he has a phenomenal story. I think you're going to really be really excited about sharing his journey. He's a 6-time PBA champion. He's a 5-time All-Star. He's a 16-year vet, a professional basketball player. Please welcome to the show, my man, my dude, my boy, Ali Peak. Welcome to the show, Ali. Hello?
There he is, in the flesh, baby. In the flesh.
You guys hear me? Hey, how are you guys doing?
Oh, we're good. We're good. Ali, real quick, let me introduce you to my man Sal. Sal, this is Ali Peak.
Nice to meet you, Ali. Good, man. Good.
Man.
And in some parts of the world, they know him as Man Mountain.
Man Mountain. Was that his nickname?
Man. That was one of his names. That was one of them. Wow. Ali, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, man. I just dropped off the kids. So if I look a little stressed out, that's why.
Oh, that's all good, bro. We understand completely. You look good, man. You look good.
I'm trying every day, man. I'm trying every day.
Yeah, absolutely. You're keeping it together, man. I'm telling everybody right now, anybody who's listening to this podcast, right, or if you're listening to it on Apple or Spotify, I'm suggesting that you stop and go to YouTube, because this is a handsome dude sitting right here. You need to see this dude.
He's dressed way better than us.
Exactly. I'm like, man, I feel like we're gonna have to do some makeup and wardrobe in post, Sal.
He's got the nice Bay Bridge behind him there on the wall.
Yeah,
man. Bay Area, you know.
Yes, sir.
So, right.
Where are you talking to us from? Are you in the Bay?
No, I'm in Las Vegas. I reside in Las Vegas now. So family and I, we moved in here. We migrated back July of last year. We actually live in the city of Centennial.
Okay, where's that in regards to Vegas?
That's northwest, about 30 plus minutes from the Strip.
Okay.
We're hugging the mountains. Which
nice.
Wow. That's pretty. That's pretty.
It is.
Nice. All right. Well, Ali, man, I was so glad that you agreed to do this when we were texting the other day. Shout out to my man Ali, man. He's a good dude, man. We've known each other for a long time, and he shot me a text and was like, "Yo, man, just thinking about you. Want to check on you, see how you and the fam are doing." And went back and forth for a minute. I was like, "Hold up." I was
Do
like,
my podcast.
yeah, exactly. I'm like, I know this dude personally. This is the person that I want to have on here, man. So
yeah, no, that's cool.
Yeah, man. So yeah, man. Thank you for joining us today. Really appreciate it. So
appreciate you, man.
So Ali, this is the thing, man. I introduced you in your introduction. I said, 16-year vet, right, and a champion and an all-star player. Now, this is a comedy podcast, but it's also just an entertainment and perseverance and, people who do amazing things and accomplish some pretty awesome things in life. When did you first start playing basketball? Like, what was the beginning for you?
12.
And where did you grow up?
Wow.
Yeah, 12 years old in Valencia, Santa Clarita Valley. About 40 minutes traffic, give or take. It's in the valley. Yeah, Los Angeles County. So, yeah, about 30 to 40 minutes, depending on traffic from the city, from downtown Los Angeles. Over there by Six Flags.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. The old Magic Mountain.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So 12. I mean, that for a lot of people, they say that's pretty late to the game, right?
It was. I don't know what it was. I fell in love with Magic Johnson, right? And I've been watching the Lakers my whole life up until that point, but I wasn't really serious. I don't know. I just kind of caught that bug.
Okay.
And I just started watching Laker games, and that was the same year that they went back to back, right? 87, 88 season. I was in 8th grade at the time. So all I could remember is all I want to be is Magic Johnson.
Wow. Really?
That's when the whole journey started for me.
Really? And so there was no one in your family, a dad, uncle, older cousin, nobody. It was really watching the games.
Magic Johnson.
Magic Johnson. I mean, my dad and my mother were big time Laker fans. Actually, my mom introduced me to the Lakers. This is back in the early 80s. This is like Jamal Wilkes playing, right? This is Mitch Kupchak at the 4 spot. Norman Nixon was still part of that guard rotation, that combo guard rotation opposite Magic Johnson. And, I remember times where my mother would take me to the Fabulous Forum.
Oh, wow.
So now this is back in the time when the roof was, the upper decks, people were smoking. You were allowed to smoke up there. I don't know if you remember that, right?
That's crazy.
Back when people were not aware. And so I specifically remember those times. Yeah.
Wow.
That's amazing, man. Sal and I are both Laker fans, right?
Okay. Well, LeBron.
Well, I was gonna say, let me clarify that.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm a LeBron fan. If LeBron left and went and played for the Kentucky Mud Ducks, I'd be like, yeah, let's go Mud Ducks.
Right. I got a boy like that, man. Yeah, we played together overseas in 2006 and 2010. He's a product of Loyola. What's the name of that? Loyola Lafayette in I think it's in New Orleans or somewhere in Louisiana, but he's originally from Chicago. And he's just a big time LeBron fan. He's not a big time Laker fan, but he follows LeBron wherever he goes and supports that team. So
Right.
Well, that's me, dude. But you know what? In my defense, because I get flack for this all the time. I grew up in Birmingham. We didn't have a professional team, right?
Yes,
So I've always just liked individual players, right? Like you mentioned Magic Johnson. If I was a Magic Johnson fan, then I wouldn't necessarily been a Laker fan as much as him. So if he would have left the Lakers and gone somewhere else, then I would have just followed him. And that's what I love. Dominique Wilkins. I used to love Michael Jordan, right? I like Patrick Ewing back in the day, Larry Johnson. You know what I mean? So when LJ left Charlotte and went to New York, I was like, yo, let's go Knicks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. Hey, Ali, when you met Reggie, did he have the Larry Johnson haircut that he loved to rock when he was young?
No way.
Remember with the part in the middle? Did I have it when I
had the part in the middle? I remember the part in the middle. And I also remember when he had Charlotte Hornets jersey. Remember that?
Oh, damn, dude, you might as well get Larry Johnson.
That was Larry Johnson.
Yo, straight up. And I'm so sincere when I say this. That's the only jersey that I've ever won ever worn that didn't have my own last name on the back, right? Because I ain't really into wearing other dudes' names on my body. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you got your own. But LJ, man, he kind of brought it, so I was like, all right, I can rock the Johnson. Yeah, you're right. That's a good memory.
Oh,
that's funny.
Yeah, remember Mockley and I used to wear.
Mockley had it. Yeah,
he had one too.
Have one too. He had
I had the teal and he had the purple one.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And we were on campus.
Yeah.
So you guys met. Y'all met at St. Mary's.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
We met at St. Mary's.
Yeah. All right. But then Ali was a starter and Reggie rode the pine.
No, I rode the pine. Yeah. That's just that's another story in itself. But
we'll get to that one. Sal, don't go.
Was Mahershala a starter? Did he start?
He started our junior year. Remember that? He started to Coach Kent started to put him in the lineup, I'd say maybe midway, right, Reggie? Right. Midway through the season, he started to trust him more, and he started I think who was this? Was it it was Cameron Sufi, right?
Yeah, Suf at the one. Well, no, he had remember he had Mahershala at the 2.
He had Mahershala at the 2. That's right.
And then what he was doing was he was bringing CJ off the bench. Remember? Yeah, he was bringing CJ off the bench. CJ was start. So then, we can get into this later, but I think, and no disrespect to Mahershala, to either one of those guys, but Coach would sometimes try to pit us against each other, and I think it was his way of like trying to get CJ going, but also trying to get Mahershala going, and it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing.
You just introduced another can of worms that we could possibly get into as well.
Oh, the coach?
Another.
Reggie's had whole episodes about the coach out here.
Oh, yeah?
Dude. Hey, look, I have not been shy, Ali, about saying this dude's name and what my experience has been. As a grown-ass man now, I'm like, look. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, that dude.
Like, what can he do to us, right?
Right.
Exactly. That he hasn't already done. He took so much from us at one point in our lives, right? Opportunity. The one thing that you cannot replace is time, right? And he wasted our time. But hold up, though.
Interesting.
Let's not go there. Let's not go there yet. Let's go back to 12. Right? Let's go back to 12. Because I'm curious, because as a former teammate and a person who used to work out with Ali in the gym, you can see now Ali still keeps it together, right? Ali, he's a lefty, and I'm telling you, anywhere around
Southpaw.
the key. Yeah, anywhere around the key. What I say, 8 to 10 feet. Hey, dude, it's guaranteed, right? My man he's probably, I would say, like 70, 80%, right? In that area, there's no missing. So I want to figure out you Magic Johnson was the thing that got you intrigued, right? So did you start playing in middle school at that point? And if you did, was there like tutelage and coaches, and who got you going?
So I was really just watching as much tape as I can watch. That's really all I had, my dad would bring home remember VHS?
Yes.
Dad would buy Larry Bird, how to shoot.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hold on, just for our younger audience, VHS is a video.
Yeah.
Right. What is it?
What does it stand for, Reg?
What's the H? Video home service or something. Yeah, video home service. Yeah, it was a big cassette that you put inside of a VCR, right? So
and I had tons of them. So he bought Kareem, Reflections from Inside, right? He bought, Magic Johnson video VHS. Michael Jordan, Come Fly With Me. I know you remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That's NBA Superstars. I remember, I couldn't wait for that because I remember it being advertised so much. They hadn't made videos like that. They hadn't made videos where they have a compilation of highlights from all the superstars of that time. And I remember it was being promoted. It was being advertised on Sports Illustrated on television. If you'd imagine that, right?
Yeah.
So I just couldn't wait for that, and my father, was kind enough to provide that for me. So you got how you could wear down VHS.
Yeah.
Tapes. That's exactly what I did. I wore all those tapes down because I just kept watching them over and over and over again. Never got tired.
Wow.
Friends over, we'd watch the same thing just over and over nonstop.
Wow. Okay, so you're watching the videos now. When do you actually get a ball in your hands and go out and start trying to do anything? Did you have a goal in your backyard, or did your dad put up one?
No, I would just go down to the park, and this was, again, we're 80s kids, man. So, my dad would look at me sideways if I asked him if he could drive me down to the park,
Really?
He's just like, so if I didn't have a bike, I'd walk down to the park and start shooting. And if I had my bike, I'd ride my bike down there with friends, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
It was like trying to pull teeth, trying to get my dad to drive me down to the park.
Really? So he wasn't necessarily, he was encouraging it, but not necessarily.
He was trying to establish the value of hard work. I think he was like, based on how he came up, it was like, he was like, I never had my father, his father was in his life, but his dad just didn't have time to take him or any of his siblings down to a park.
Oh, okay.
So it was kind of like that mentality of like, I had it rough, so I'm not going to go easy on you. You're going to have to fight. If you want to shoot baskets, you have an hour. You need to find a way to get down there. So
wow,
like
that's interesting, because usually the story is I had it rough, so I want to make it easier for you, right?
Yeah. My dad was different.
Your dad doubled down.
Would you be like smoking guys pretty hard in the when you're playing with your friends? Like, did your talent show early on?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was child's play. Like,
how tall were you at this point? Or how big were you?
I was about 6'1".
Oh, you're pretty big already.
200 pounds already. And then
at 200 pounds already.
That was 12, 13 years old.
Damn.
I'm telling you, dude, when we were at St. Mary's, I mean, Ali, would you come in weight-wise when we played at 250?
I was between 250 and 260, for sure.
250 and 260. Wow. And I played at 215, 220, right? Ali and I are almost roughly about the same height, right?
Yeah.
But Ali is like, I can stand behind Ali and you can't see me, right? Because he got these, you see those shoulders?
Yeah, he's solid.
You swam too as a kid, right? Didn't you swim a lot?
Yeah, I was a swimmer. Yeah, I was a swimmer before I was a basketball player.
This right here, got those shoulders.
Yeah, no, it changes the
Yeah, you get those swimmer bodies.
My dad told me you don't need weights. He would, again, my dad was different, man. So just to prove a point, he would tell me to, like, I'd be in the backyard all day digging ditches for him,
Oh, wow.
Or he'd say, hey, we're going to light the fireplace. See those, like, you go to the grocery store and you get these small pieces of wood now.
Right.
Fireplace. He'd bring in, can we cuss here?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is,
bringing these fucking logs that were like this thick. And I'm 12. I'm not that strong. I don't think I'm that strong. Like, he wants me to get an axe and chop them into pieces. That's what he would do. And my mom would be pissed. It was cold outside, and that's just the stuff that he would do to me. I mean, hey, don't get me wrong. There was always a lesson behind all of those things, though.
Right.
Explain to me why.
Okay.
And
he was definitely.
It's funny. My father, I wouldn't have to.
He'd get his, like, my friends would be over at the house and be like, "What are you guys doing? What time do you have to be home? Okay, come
use their labor.
He'd give him a shovel. He'd give him an axe.
Really?
And to the point that my friends didn't want to come over to the house.
Hell no.
Your dad hates me. He doesn't like me. I don't want to go. Like, he was that dude, man.
You want to go to Ali's house? No, his dad gives us chores.
He's only 5'8". This is my stepfather now.
Oh, okay.
That's my real dad.
Okay.
I never knew my biological. My biological was 6'6", according to my mother.
Oh, okay, okay. Wow. See, that's what I was going to ask you. So your biological father was 6'6".
6'6".
And how tall is your mom?
5'2".
5'2".
Holy wow.
Oh, dude, if she could have got 2 more inches, bro. If she was,
because the height gene, and I learned this in the pros, right? And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the height gene comes from, if you're a boy, the height gene comes from your mom.
Yep.
So mom fucked it up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
if she could have came in at 5'5", if she would have got 5'5", 5'6", we're looking at a 6'5", 6'6" Ali peak,
yeah.
which
I would have loved to be 6'5".
you would have been Byron Houston, but better. Remember?
Yeah,
Byron
he was
Houston.
in the Philippines, by the way.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. Byron Houston played for the Warriors back in the day for a while, and he was considered like an undersized power forward, but he was like 6'5", almost 6'6", but just strong, right?
So does this make that much of a difference? Like those 2 inches make that much of a difference, huh?
It does.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Just because you could get over the person more on the shot and stuff.
Well, your reach and your size, right? Oh, go ahead, Ali.
Size, but then also, the scouts, and let's just be honest, they find out that that's what messed up Byron Houston. Byron Houston at Oklahoma State University, I think he was like one of the top 5 scorers in the nation during this time. And he was being listed constantly at 6'7", 6'8".
Wow.
Then he gets measured at 6'4.5". That changed everything.
That changed everything.
He's athletic, but he wasn't athletic like Larry Johnson was.
Or like Charles Barkley.
He did not have the skill set of a Charles Barkley or Larry Johnson. I think you can agree with that, right, Reggie?
Absolutely.
Or stationary in the block. He didn't have a 3-point shot like Larry and Charles did. He wasn't necessarily the best ball handler.
Right. So he didn't have the same mobility and the agility that those guys had, right?
So at 6'4", man, that's hard in the NBA.
It's hard.
Okay, so the skills have to be, other skills have to be better if they're gonna.
I mean, think about stretch 4. Like we could say now, right? Larry Johnson, Charles Barkley, despite I'll even go as far as Adrian Dantley, who's 6'5", right? That skill set, in my opinion, translates well to today's game.
Yep.
Right.
Think about someone like the big man from I forgot his name, the big man from Golden State, who's about 6'7", if that.
Kevon Looney?
No, Golden State, the loudmouth.
Draymond Green. Yeah,
loudmouth.
6'7".
Like, so you know what I'm saying? Like, so that type of skill set, very similar to minus the explosiveness, right? Reg?
Right.
Of Charles Barkley and Larry Johnson. That's why I think those guys would translate well in today's game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's what Byron Houston didn't have that.
No. It's interesting, man. I think we may have talked about this at one point, but I never knew my biological father. I've never seen him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I did find him online, and so I'm throwing it out there. I know that he's alive and well. He lives in Michigan. I actually found his name, his address, his phone number. I got all his information. I'm still debating whether or not I want to reach out to him, but he knew that I existed, and he's never reached out to me. And I got no hard feelings, no resentment, no anger, none of that stuff. But I'm still thinking about maybe one day. But I didn't know that you didn't know your biological father either.
Yeah, he's somewhere in Texas.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's interesting. Did that affect you at all growing up, or you were no?
Yeah, when you're young, my mother would tell me, because he was abusive, right?
Oh, okay.
Abusive to her, verbally, psychologically, emotionally, physically, and that's what made her walk.
Okay, well, good for her. Props to your mom for stepping up.
Like now that we're older, to your point, you're curious. Mm-hmm. He's never reached out to me, ever. He's never reached out. He's never tried.
Right.
So that part of me is kind of like, well, if he's not trying, why should I? I already have a dad.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Right. And you had somebody who wanted to be there, right? Who was present, right? Yeah, I'm with you. The same thing for me, man. My mom never got married after my dad passed. Well, so it's a whole thing. But I'm adopted. When my mom adopted me, she was married to a guy. They separated, but he was still around for a while. But he passed when I was in 3rd grade. So he was the only guy that I knew of as a father, right? And she never dated or had anybody else come around me. So my friends' dads kind of played the role of mentor in that way, right? And so I never felt like I missed out on having a guy in the house just because my friends' dads were so active. Even to this day, I still, I love those dudes like they were my fathers on a lot of levels, right? So I never felt like I missed out on anything. So for you, I imagine it's the same thing. This guy is gone, and actually it sounds like it was a good thing that he wasn't around because of who he was, and you were fortunate to have somebody else who had you chopping wood in the backyard.
Hey man, that's a long there's a long list of things that I mean.
Yeah. He sounded like he's like the he sounded like he missed the Mr. Miyagi, right? Like, you know, wax on, wax off, right? Chop the wood. Yeah. All that stuff translates to.
It's like kind of like, you know, that I don't know if you've seen that document. Well, okay, so Phil Jackson, Shaquille O'Neal always tells a story when he went up to Montana to go visit him.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's right.
Had him get drenched. He told him to go into the pond or whatever. And
yeah,
that's the stuff my dad would do without explaining anything. And then later on, he'll either explain it to me or I'll figure it out in my head why he has me doing it that way.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. When I was a kid, my father would make me chop wood too. But sometimes when I was really too young yet, I would have to hold it still, and then he would do it. And I was always scared as hell I was going to lose a fucking finger.
Yeah, man. Shit.
Or the chainsaw, you got to hold it still when he's cutting wood. Oh, man, it was
So this is interesting because, Ali, your stepdad had you chopping wood and doing all kind of stuff, digging ditches. Sal, your dad had you holding wood while you trying to chop. I didn't have that dude as far as like the father, but I had my neighbor. There was this guy named Mr. Peabody, and there was an abandoned house behind my house that had this huge yard. So he would go back there and like till the soil. He made that yard. He turned that yard into his garden. So he had me back there digging trenches to plant, seeds or what have you.
Oh, it's youth labor,
dude. But it was like we would find these big, huge rocks, right? And I had to like carry these rocks. That's the kind of stuff that just led to that child man strength as a kid, right?
Try getting a kid to do that now.
Oh,
hell no, dude! Like this ain't a controller.
You get arrested. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you would. You totally get arrested.
Well, you'd have to find some way to glue a device on top of it, a tablet or a phone.
Yeah,
right.
An iPad on it.
An iPad, and then have them move it. So, all right. So Ali, so now let's fast forward. So you're watching the tapes. You're wearing the tapes out. You're going down to the park. You're getting into high school now. Did you you try out for the team and you play, your freshman year? Are you JV or what's the deal?
No, that was the first time I'd ever played organized basketball. So,
oh wow, okay.
So I had a lot to learn. Just really raw. Didn't understand the concepts, and I had to kind of just learn, build step by step.
Right.
So, of course, I wanted to play varsity, but I wasn't. Yeah. So.
Okay.
So it went from freshman to junior varsity, and then from junior varsity to varsity. So my junior and senior years when I played varsity.
Okay.
But I mean, go ahead.
Sorry. Oh, this is crazy going from just varsity, junior, and senior, and then you're in a Division I school.
Yeah, that was like. It was tough, man. Like Reggie knows, it was tough. I struggled a lot because I just didn't know enough, and I wasn't mature enough.
Well, and so let me just throw this out here too. So Ali and I both graduated college at the same time in 1996, right? I was born in 74. Ali was born in 75. So Ali actually, his birthday is 4 days before mine. I'm February 17th. You're February 13th, right? 13th. So we're both Aquarius, but I'm a whole year ahead of him. Just like, so Ali, actually, your parents, I think they started you school early, right? Yeah. So think about this developmentally. If Ali would have started when he was supposed to start, he would have been on track with the kids at his age, at that time. But because he was a year behind, that means that he had to work extra hard. So even though you were a year younger than everyone, you still were able to get things done. You struggled obviously with some developmental things early, but I think it's a testament to you that you still persevered through that, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, of course, Coach in his ways, he didn't make it necessarily easy for any of us.
Right.
But like there was lessons learned in that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You have to, like, yeah, we'll get to that.
Okay, we'll get to. So all right, so now you play varsity your junior senior year. By the time we get to your senior year, I read, you put up 40 points in one game. Are you going to camps in the summer? Right,
by this time, yeah, I'm going to this thing called Slam and Jam. I don't know if you ever heard of that. Slam and Jam during the summertime, or actually during the springtime, and then between my sophomore and junior year, during my junior year, between my junior year and senior year, it was all about American Roundball Corporation.
Okay, I never heard of that, but that's
so that was but I had never heard of AAU until I started playing overseas, which is crazy.
Right.
Never heard of it.
Wow.
Yeah. So ARC. Yeah.
All right. So let me ask you this. So
on that team, though, on our squad, we had some pretty good players on that squad.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Your senior year, obviously you've generated some interest, right? You're getting offers and coaches are talking to you. What options did you have to go to school, as far as like what other scholarship offers or whether the schools were interested in you before you decided to go to St. Mary's? Sure. And then what made you decide to go to St. Mary's?
The first, you're not gonna believe me when I tell you why I went to St. Mary's College.
All right, let's do it.
I mean, now we can talk about it, right?
Yeah.
But my first letter was my sophomore year to San Diego State University, right? And they even spelled my name wrong, right? P-E-R.
Pierre?
Pierre.
Yeah.
Ali Pierre.
Yeah. And they had a big picture of this 6'10" center by the name of Mitch McMullen, who went to my high school. I think that was their way of just kind of trying to connect with me. And he ended up playing for the Atlanta Hawks for a little bit.
Okay.
He was on the team with when Moses and Doc and Dominique were there.
Okay.
Wow. He didn't see the light of day,
but
he was on that squad. I remember that.
Hey, yeah, I'll take that.
And then after that, that's when, between sophomore, because I was playing summer ball and we're playing in all these tournaments. And by this time, I'm comfortable in my own skin. So I'm just throwing it down on anybody. Because by this time I'm like 254, 6'3.5", 6'4", just really athletic. And even though there were kids that were maybe 6'7", 6'8", they weren't even pounds, man. Like maybe 205, 210.
Yeah, if they were lucky, 195, bro. Yeah, 195.
It was child's play.
250. Hold on, let's take a time out real quick. Sal, do you understand what he just said?
I gotta look him up in his prime. This is crazy. It's hard to imagine.
These kids are 6'6", 6'7", and as an athlete, you walk into a place and guys kind of get that thing where they feel like they're taller than you. They look at you and they're like, "Oh, okay, what if I got this guy?" But then you get in those blocks, and I've been in the blocks with Ali, right?
You're just like all muscle,
bro. He hit you with this joint right here, or he come around. Ali would throw it on. He would throw it down on you, bro. All you got to do is just get the ball out the net, right? That's just what it is. And he coming, and because we're used to playing against righties, he coming with the left. So what your instincts are to defend the right all the time.
Right.
So while you're going up trying to defend the right, there's a left hand. There's like blah, right? So, Ali, that's beautiful. I love that. Okay.
I just started. I guess from that point on, the gates opened up. These schools started. The second letter I remember was University of Utah.
Okay. Wow.
Utes.
Yeah.
Utes. Yeah. University of Utah. And then after that, I think it was like Irvine, Santa Barbara.
Wow, those are big time. Those are nice programs. Those are nice schools too.
Back then, they were nice programs.
Yeah. Your senior year, what kind of league? I mean, as far as like, what was the season like? Were you league MVP, or did your team do well? Did you guys go to the state and we
just won our own division, like our league titles, just league titles. Our high school wasn't known for basketball.
Okay.
They were known. My high school produced major college football players and baseball players. Matter of fact,
this is in SoCal.
This is in SoCal. So the valley, that valley there, man, between Saugus, Canyon Country, and Valencia area, which was represented by Hart High School back then, it wasn't uncommon for baseball players to be signed to a team, a major league farm team, straight out of high school. Matter of fact, one of my teammates, his name was Andrew Lorraine, one of our point guards. He played for the California Angels and I think the Chicago White Sox at one point.
Oh wow, okay.
Talking about how, he told me how he was with the, remember they were back then they were called the California Angels. He had to go up against the Big Hurt.
Oh, Frank Thomas.
Frank Thomas, yeah.
Hey, man, he said he was getting his ass handed to him the whole fucking. Then he had to deal with Frank Thomas, and Frank Thomas set his shit way out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Outside the stadium.
Yeah,
no one could catch it.
Friends who played college, major, UCLA's, the University of, I think, Pitt during that time, Pittsburgh, big time schools. Those are the type of athletes that were being produced out of my high school. So basketball was rare. Basketball was, matter of fact, I was one of the few that ever got a scholarship Division I out of my high school.
Wow.
It was just, people looked at me crazy. Like, how come this guy's not playing football?
That's what I was going to ask you. I mean, with your size, honestly, football would have probably been ideal too.
Our size, man. I mean, we're prototypes for football, right? Like,
I appreciate that, Sal. Thank you. I mean, I appreciate that, Ali. I appreciate including me in that.
It's true. It's true. Like, we have the height, that height that they're looking for. And one thing that you can't teach in football is athleticism. We had it.
Yeah, we definitely had that. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
So, but you were never interested in football, huh?
I was interested, but my dad just kept discouraging me, kept keeping me away from it.
Really?
Yeah. And what the irony of that is that he was an All-American out of Detroit. He was a linebacker.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Sal, I mean, Sal, I keep saying Sal. Ali, that's huge, man. For a guy to have done as well as he did in that sport and not encouraging that sport. He knew something that we didn't know then at that time.
Yeah, he didn't see TV first.
So remember when Junior Seau, he committed suicide?
Yeah.
So I remember, I followed Junior because Junior Seau was from USC.
Right.
He's from Southern Cal. And I remember watching it on the news and my dad just snapped at me. And just out of nowhere. First of all, my dad doesn't deal well with news of someone dying, right? He doesn't know where to place his emotions.
Okay.
And it comes out as anger. Again, one of those old school dads from the early 80s, right?
Right.
And he just snapped at me while we're watching this. And he said, you see why I didn't want you fucking with football? And he just walked out.
Wow. So
I think something happened to him, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, and I'm sure that he probably had seen other players, right? Look,
before he was identified, right?
Yeah.
Identified. Yeah.
I peeped it a long time ago when I was a kid. And I would say even probably high school and then in college for sure. You get around football players, and sometimes there's just something different about them. Right? Just a little bit.
I mean, they enjoy hitting.
Yeah.
Right.
And getting hit. I knew guys who loved getting hit. It was weird.
Yeah, I'm good on that. Yeah, don't hit me.
Remember when we played pickup at St. Mary's?
Yeah.
Again, just for fun, you could always tell who the football players were.
Yes.
Take it serious.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
I dare I say, if we're playing pickup and a football player wanted to play, I'm like, all right, man, I'm out. I'm gonna go.
No, they're no fun. They were like, they wrote it. It's too serious.
They bump into you. Basketball is a finesse game, right? Like we're coming off screens, we're catching, we're doing the thing. These guys are like running and banging into stuff. You're like, what are you doing? Like, yeah, I'm good. So, all right, well, props to your pops for keeping you from potentially getting CTE or becoming a NFL Hall of Famer, right? Like it could have. Yeah. Okay. All right. So. All right.
But why St. Mary's?
Yeah. Why did you choose St. Mary's?
Oh God. Well,
and looking at the other options, right? Like, were there stuff closer to home or further away?
I had a lot going on, man. I was stubborn. It's put it this way. If I didn't have to go to class, I wouldn't go to class.
Okay. You need to be a pro. You need to go straight to the league out of high school.
It's just not, you know, I wasn't, you know, which is kind of weird because when I was in junior high school, I was focused. You know, I was getting good grades and everything. But when I got into high school, something changed. So my grades suffered. And a lot of schools shied away.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't tell you how many times I had arguments with my high school coach. On a side note, my high school coach used to coach at this school called Cleveland High School back in the day.
Okay. South from Cleveland, Ohio. So that's kind
of in Reseda.
Okay.
And he produced guys like Trevor Wilson. Remember Trevor Wilson?
Yeah, I remember the name.
UCLA?
Yeah.
Then he later on, he also coached a two-sport player by the name of Brett Saberhagen, who ended up being like a Cy Young Award winner.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
In the major leagues. And I think there was another guy, I forgot his name, who also went to the NBA. There's a couple of other NBA draftees that he coached in high school that never stuck to the NBA, but they ended up having careers overseas.
Okay.
So if you imagine the frustration that he had with me, because he saw
potential
I had.
Yeah.
What ended up happening was University of San Diego, and Randy Bennett was there. He was recruiting me hard
to
the point that we had a home visit. He came over, not just him, but opposite him was Todd Lee, the assistant coach, another assistant coach, and then the head coach at the time was Hank Egan. Do you remember Hank Egan?
I remember the name Hank Egan. Where did he coach at?
He ended up becoming one of the top assistants to Greg Popovich.
Oh, okay. There we go.
So,
okay.
So you wonder, right? Like you're like,
right.
All makes sense as to why Randy Bennett is successful.
Yeah, I was gonna say, for those who don't know, Randy Bennett,
you're learning from Hank Egan all those years, and now Hank Egan is an assistant to Greg Popovich while they had their run.
Right. Well, real quick, let me just say to our audience, for those who don't know, Randy Bennett is the current head coach at St. Mary's College of California, where Ali and I played. And St. Mary's is currently ranked number 23 in the country right now. And they've had a good run under his coaching. So yeah, shout outs to our alma mater.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Coach Bennett. So he was recruiting you big time when he was at San Diego State.
Hard, yeah, but then they wanted me to develop. They wanted me to go to a junior college near them.
Okay.
They said 1 to 2 years, Ali, we got to get your grades in order, but we also want to develop your skill set.
Okay.
And at the time, going to junior college, especially in the early 90s, that was blasphemous, right?
Yeah. No, straight up. And you know, I did it. I didn't do it in my hometown. I did it out here in California.
That's what, like, that was, I mean, you know, no disrespect to you, Reggie.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
The thing is, when I look back on that, I cringe because I needed that.
Right.
I needed to learn the game more.
Yeah.
I didn't understand the game. I didn't realize that I had to develop my skill set more. They probably wanted to get me to be able to handle the ball.
Right. Right.
They had plans.
Right.
But you know, I wasn't trying to do that.
Well, you know, when we're young in those positions, man. Yeah.
It's so much for a young mind to make a decision on. It's so crazy. So
and like
crazy.
we said, Ali was actually a year younger as well. Right.
Right.
So he's getting this attention, not just based on his raw talent. Like there's a thing where you look at a person, you go, look, you can't teach 6'4", you can't teach 250, you can't teach the athleticism, right? Yeah. So it's like, we want that, and then we'll try to figure out the rest later. Like if you get the raw materials to build something, right, then that's where the energy goes. And that's what it sounds like it was for you, Ali. It was like you had a lot of raw materials, and they were like, all right, well, let's just put it together. But okay, so you weren't interested in going to the junior college route.
And I wasn't interested, and I also had pressure from my dad. He was like, he was all about going to Division I.
You wanted to go, okay.
By this time, we graduate from high school, still no decision on my part yet.
Okay.
And you got friends, your teammates saying, "Hey, man, where you going?"
Yeah.
And you got some of your teammates, kind of whispering behind your back saying, "Man, he's not going anywhere. His grades are this, that, and low SAT scores." And then, so the choices started to really dwindle. And towards the end of summer, like a month before summer was over with, between my senior year and my freshman year in college, I ended up going to this mini camp provided by the Pump Brothers. Remember the Pump Brothers?
Yeah.
Out somewhere in Bakersfield, and or actually at Cal State Bakersfield. So I'm going up against not only high school kids, but I'm going up against junior college kids.
Right.
They're that's their last ditch effort.
Yes.
So, you would think it's easy, but these people are scratching and clawing.
Oh, yeah.
To get a scholarship somewhere, whether it's 1, 2, 3, or NAIA, right? So there was a lot of scratching and clawing, and I stood out. And that's when I met Ernie Kent. So I met the head coach at the time from Creighton University and Coach Ernie Kent.
Dude, Ali, you don't even know, because I had an opportunity to go to Creighton too. Creighton was, and I signed at San Diego State before I signed at St. Mary's.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later, but yeah.
Oh my God.
Yo, it's crazy, bro. All right, man, keep going. I'm loving it.
Fucking nightmare, man. God, yeah. You do well.
Okay, so
Creighton here, So,
yeah.
But yeah, go. Okay, so yeah, so Ernie Kent calls, and this is how slick of a businessman Ernie Kent is. We talk on the phone. We hit it off. He's a salesman. I got to give him that. 100%. Says all the right things. He makes it sound like, it's gold, right? So he gets my parents in the palm of his hands. He gets me in the palm of his hands. So he flies me out to the Bay Area and shows me the campus. Nice campus. And I remember the library. No, not the library. The registrars okay. On the side, right? And there's like 2 stories. So I remember standing out on the second story, looking out that big window.
Yeah.
That to the front of St. Mary's College, and I remember a voice in my head saying, "This ain't it, man."
What?
And I was just like, by this time,
it's too late.
You hadn't signed yet.
No, I haven't signed yet.
Okay.
Coach Kent he took me up to registrars to show me around. Then he went to the office, went to go talk to whoever he needed to talk to. He said, "Just wait out here." And so all I kept thinking about was my mom being stressed out. I'm not trying to throw my parents under the bus. I'm just being real with you here, right?
Right.
These were the thoughts that were going through my head. I don't want my mom to stress out anymore. The summer's almost over. I got to make a decision. And I just remember that voice saying, "Man, this ain't it, Ali. This is not it. Don't do it."
Was the only other option Creighton at that point, or?
Yeah, Creighton. Matter of fact, the head coach from San Diego. Okay, so before I left so let me rewind a little bit. So before I left for the trip to the Bay Area, I get on the phone with Randy Bennett. He's like, "All right, well, listen, Ali, we've been recruiting you since the beginning of your junior year. You got to look at our commitment to you. We haven't gone anywhere." And he said, "What you're going to do is you're probably going to meet AJ Rollins. He plays your position, and that's Ernie Kent's prize recruit." He wasn't lying about that, and that's fine, because AJ is a great, God bless him. AJ was a great guy, and he backed it up. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Can't say anything about that. So he said, "Make sure when you're done with that trip, call me up so I know what your decision is." So I'll get to that. So So I'm during it's the trip, and then you know, the whole, you know how the whole recruiting process goes.
Yeah.
And so he has me meet Troy McCoy.
Yeah.
First player I ever met at St. Mary's College. Troy just had this great personality. Instantly I fell in love with Troy, right? And then I was going to meet some more players later on that they had during this time. All in between all of that, he's telling me about this big kid that he recruited from Alaska. He's coming.
Jamoke Horton.
You're gonna love him. You're gonna love him, Molly.
Right.
And so I knew about Jamoke, knew about AJ, hadn't made it AJ yet. So we have dinner before a movie. And so Ernie Kent's there, Troy McCoy is there. I can't remember who other assistant coaches are there. Two other players, another player shows up. Two other players show up. First, it's Mahershala Ali. He shows up.
Okay.
And all I kept thinking, man, this dude looks like Wesley Snipes.
Hey, Blade, baby.
Dude, what the hell? This is Wesley Snipes. And then AJ shows up. And then, you know, I was very impressed with all of them. It's particularly AJ. AJ, the way he carried himself, you know, they all carried themselves well, but AJ sort of stood out. And then we went to the movies. We went to go see Boomerang.
Dude, classic.
We had a great time together, and I was like, huh, these guys are pretty interesting dudes, you know. And we got this recruiting class. Chris Johnson, who I had met, was a top recruit out of junior college, and now Big Jamoke is going to be showing up. This is a pretty cool recruiting class. And then so I hadn't made my decision yet. We're bowling because AJ likes to bowl.
Yeah.
And then I remember Ernie Kent saying, "So you like the guys?" Like, yeah. Do you see yourself playing with these guys and hanging out with these guys and possibly going to school? I said, you know what? I do. This is what happens. We're with Greg Graham now, the other
GG. Yeah.
So Greg Graham, Ernie Kent, me. So we're eating. And then Ernie Kent goes, "Hey, did you tell Greg Graham that you signed?" Cornered my ass, man.
Oh,
so as a 17-year-old kid, now you're pressured.
Yeah, you hear that 17, right? Yeah,
17. And you know, when you hear that from a grown man, you're thinking, shit, maybe I am going to sign.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that, man. Never forgot that. Never.
Wow.
And so to fast forward, I know I'm jumping ahead here.
No, it's all good.
I started to get into the business aspect of negotiating contracts in the pros. That always stuck with me.
Wow.
Always fucking stuck with me. Don't allow yourself to get cornered. Of course, I allowed myself to get cornered because I was still in my 20s, didn't know any better.
Right.
When I got into my mid to late 30s, I was like, man, I don't give a fuck what you say.
Right.
Basically, pretty much for the most part, it's a general manager that you got to deal with.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, the message from you and your agent to the general manager gets distorted in so many different ways to the ownership. And before you know it, the owner's like, hey, why did you say this? Why did you say that? No, it's a general manager. You know.
Wow.
When I see players nowadays, and I know I'm kind of going off course here.
No, it's all good.
Nowadays, that are holding out, and then they get scrutiny. Oh, you're being selfish. You're being greedy. Oh man, they're taking care of business.
Yeah, you don't see the other side.
Fucking manager that screws everything up because he's trying to impress the ownership.
Right.
You know? See, look what I did. I got him for less. You know, that's usually how.
Right.
But anyways, yeah. But yeah, going back to that, I remember that with Ernie Kent.
Wow. Real quick, we're gonna go back to
red flag.
We're gonna go back to EK real quick, but I just want to say, bro, I honestly think that especially being in Vegas, like if you had like a workshop, like a 2 or 3 day workshop to just talk to college players, potential pros, whatever the case may be, just about the exploits of the business, how players can be exploited and how managers and, you know what I mean, just contracts, right? And not coming from someone who's in their business right now, but like someone who's done it. Like, look, I did it for a very long time. I made my mistakes. I rectified those mistakes. I want to pass this information on to you. Like, we could talk about that later, but I really think that there's something, even if it's like, once a year, right? Just a workshop to talk about the business side of it, because we didn't have anybody talk to us about that stuff, right? So
yeah, you're so young too.
You're so young.
I mean, not to place blame on anybody, but I mean, with all the programs that Ernie Kent had, he could have added that on to it.
Absolutely.
And that's just, that's,
But the teammates also
does a magician give away his tricks? You know what I'm saying? Is he gonna pull the veil back, say, hey, look, this is what I actually do, right?
That's funny.
But okay, all right. So you're sitting there. Did you tell Gigi or tell Greg Graham that you signed?
Greg Graham looks happy. He looks excited, and he shakes my hand. I shake his hand.
Oh, shady.
Now, next thing I know, I'm in Ernie Kent's garage, or I'm in Ernie Kent's kitchen, signing the damn contract, and he takes a picture of it. He takes a picture of it.
That weekend.
Fucking weekend, man. Now,
and Coach Bennett said, he said, call me after your visit. Right?
He was
got him.
Wow.
I mean, your parents are probably all in on you going there at this point.
My mom started crying, she's like, are you like, yeah, but the thing was, this is where, like, I was trying to please. I didn't want her to stress out. I wasn't
right.
I'm trying to please her. I didn't want her stressing out anymore. And I wanted this over with. I wanted it over with. And I got to make a decision,
Okay.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's tough, man.
Yeah. Wow. Dude, that's
but the players probably helped too, right? I mean, getting along with them.
Yeah.
But still, I'm sorry.
That's tough.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
So after that, Coach Kent drives me to the next morning, he drives me to the airport. And I'm a St. Mary's Gale. And a couple of days later, Randy Bennett's like, he's leaving messages on my answering machine. And I don't know how to respond to him, so I'm ignoring him. And then finally I get on the phone with him, and he's not happy.
So.
He was like, okay, so you go and visit them for a weekend, and I've been recruiting you for 2 years.
Oh man.
And he said, all right, well, good luck. And that was it. I hung up the phone.
Wow.
Oh man.
Did you feel bad?
It wasn't a good feeling, man. It wasn't a good, we've all had that instinct. We have the instinct. Oftentimes we ignore it. When you know that you're walking into something that might not be as stable as you want it to be.
Right.
I felt when I was going to St. Mary's College. People were great on campus. The friendships that I made there with my teammates and the rest of the student body, great experience. But basketball, that was a whole monster. I learned a lot. Made great friends, bonds.
Connections.
Dude,
this is the thing that a lot of people don't understand as an athlete is the thing that you do, be it football, baseball, basketball, tennis, golf, whatever it is, the thing that you do, if that isn't going well, right? I don't care how nice the campus is. I don't care how nice the facilities are. I don't care how nice the faculty and the student body is and how supportive. If that thing that you're doing isn't going well, or if you made a decision under duress to do the thing that's what you do, those things can't compensate for how you feel, right? It's an uphill battle. So do
you felt like you made a mistake that early on?
It was in the back of my mind. And it was alarms. I think it would have been so much had Ernie Kent not did that.
Yeah.
Right.
But it made me feel uneasy. I didn't tell anybody about it. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell my parents about that.
Wow. Yeah, I bet.
Wow, that's
you don't do that to a kid. I don't think so, at least.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Give him time to make a decision.
Right.
Well, and that's why he did it, because he didn't want to give you time. He knew he could pressure you. Wow.
Yeah.
Dude.
Let me ask you this: were your parents in the room when he said that?
No. My parents were in Southern California.
Wow.
So it's just
yeah.
There. Wow.
Wow. Okay, so man, I mean that the line that Bennett said though, that line is the most telling. Yeah. We've been recruiting you for 2 years, and they've been recruiting you for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck. That right there. That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the stab with the turn. Right. Just the we've been recruiting for 2 years, and they were recruiting for 2 weeks.
Probably knew, you know, like when you look back on all the, you know, hindsight is 2020. He probably knew. All those guys know how each other really, you know, how each coach, they have a pretty good idea of what kind of people.
Right. Yeah.
People are
like how they work.
Yeah. How they work.
That's why he wanted you to call him as soon as you got back. Right. Because he's like, EK he's got a silver tongue. The one thing that I think
he probably knew. Right?
Yeah, he probably knew. He probably knew. That's the one thing that I think that we all have said. The different generations of players that have come through the program that have been under him is that we all say that this guy's got a silver tongue. I mean, he can sell water to a well. You understand? He can sell ice to an Eskimo. You understand? Like, it's the silver tongue, bro. He has the gift of gab.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. He has the gift of gab, and these other coaches know it to some degree. And so that's probably why he now the one thing I will say this, and we always give EK props for this, for as deceptive or manipulative and how untrustworthy and how unforthcoming he was in a lot of ways. The one thing he did do that we all agree on is that he picked high character guys, right? Like, all the guys that have had issues with him and whatever our experience was with him, all of us have come together and we stick together because we all have that thing in common where it's like, oh, this is not just a phenomenal athlete in a play, but this is a good person. Like, this is a good dude. Like, you know, and it's not my story, but part of the reason why I chose St. Mary's was because of AJ, and because when I met all you guys and the camaraderie and the connection and the community that you guys had established with each other, I was like, okay, damn, the school, I could play with these dudes. I like these. I want to hang out with these dudes, you know? So
here's the thing. I don't know if you remember this, Reggie, man. It was during Jamaica Me Crazy. Remember that?
Yeah.
When you tell me you've talked about Jamaica You Crazy out here, that's when Reggie first met Mahershala.
The first year, you missed this, Reggie. You missed. The first year was the best. Then they started slapping all these bullshit regulations. You can't do this. You can't do that. I mean, it was borderline sex fest in the dorms anyway. So,
okay.
But I mean, you know, I got laid, you know.
I don't think I've ever heard you say that out loud. I mean, I know you got kids, so I know you have, but I've never heard you say.
Yeah, at school, man. And my eldest is at work, you know. So I mean, it was cool, man. It was cool. But then after that, but anyway, I remember you asking me, man, because he was recruiting you hard, and I don't know if you remember this. And I should have fucking just told you the truth, right?
Right.
You go, hey man, Ali, is coach really cool? And I said, yeah, he's cool, but Hadley just wanted to tell you, run for the fucking hills, man. Just
dude, hold up. Let me just tell you this right now. It's all good, man. I get it. Don't even trip. No hard feelings. Mahershala actually told Mockley. He told Mockley not to come. He said, dude, do not come here. This guy is not cool. But Mockley took it as if, oh, wait, we almost play the same positions. Are you trying to keep me from coming because, you know, you don't want me to take your spot? Like, he took it that way. The ego came in. Believe me, if you would have told me that, bro, I would have been like, I don't think I would have taken it that way. I'd have been like, really? Because I'm not as cynical as far as people, right? Pessimistic. So I would have believed you. I'd be like, oh wow, he's not cool. He sucks. If you'd have been like, oh, he's terrible, I'd be like, all right, well, because I still had San Diego State on the table. I still had Utah State on the table. I still had Stephen F. Like I had options. So, but it's all good. No hard feelings, but you know.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, so let's get to. He's a professional, Reg. We gotta get to the professional.
Okay. So let's here. We'll run through the St. Mary's part. Basically, SMC for 4 years. A lot of people don't know this, but I'll share this too. So Ali, I got to St. Mary's my junior year, and we played together that year. But then our senior year, Ali did not play. He suffered a microfracture in his kneecap in his knee, And so he had to have surgery. And at that time, that surgery, I remember it being a very volatile time because you were it was 50-50, right? Whether he was gonna be able to play again. It almost felt like it might have been a career-ending thing.
How did you injure it playing?
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
How did you injure it?
Just all the pounding. It was, well, actually, it's a degenerative type thing. Many doctors would say it might even be hereditary. Okay. But I think it was trauma. I think I remember hurting my knee really bad when I was a kid. So I think it was something that never was dealt with properly. I think that's what it was. But you know, Mari Stoudemire, career became different after he had the microfracture.
Yeah.
Same with Kerry Kittles. Remember that?
Yep.
Yeah, they weren't the same after they came back from that, you know.
No.
The difference was it was in weight-bearing areas. Mine wasn't in the weight-bearing area, so I was very lucky.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Good. All right. So now he doesn't play last year because of knee injury or knee surgery, right? We graduate 96, and now before you get drafted in the PBA as a third.
Let me tell you this real quick, Reggie.
Okay.
Dude, that was the best fucking year of college.
When you were hurt and you didn't have to play?
Tell them why. Tell them why. Go ahead.
Deal with Ernie fucking Kent, man.
Exactly. You're on scholarship.
I'm on scholarship. Now, that was an ordeal because he was trying to get – I'd gone – all right, so I don't know if you want to hear this or not, but I'd gone to I remember I was trying to transfer.
Cal State Bakersfield. You're like, I'm out.
Cal State Bakersfield. Yeah. So Ernie Kent – I tell Ernie Kent about what happened he grants me the release.
Okay.
And then in that time, my knee starts acting up while I'm trying out for them. And I could already tell that I wasn't high on their list anymore. We played about 8 games, eight pickup. And the first couple of games, I'm not having a problem with anybody at all over there.
Oh, yeah, of course not. Yeah.
And then the pain starts coming and I can't control the pain anymore. And, you know, I think they picked up on that. And then now I was stuck. I was in trouble now because, you know, knowing how Coach Kent can be, I went back to him and he said, well, you know, you turn your back on us, so I'm going to turn my back on you.
God damn. You're like Paulie from Goodfellas.
Hold up. That's a direct quote.
Okay. This is what he said. He goes, Coach Dominguez picked me up from the airport.
Coach D, shout out to Coach D.
Yeah, exactly. I told him what happened. And I said, he said, okay, so I told he talked, he said, okay, I'll talk to Coach Kent. And he said, and then a couple of days later, I followed up and then he said, well, you know, I told him, and he turned around, walked in his office, didn't say anything to me. I think you're gonna have to get him. So I called him up and he said, you know, well, Ali, you know, it's not verbatim, but that's pretty much what he said. He said, you decided to turn your back on us and this team, so I'm going to have to turn my back on you. That's what he said.
Dude, this dude, he's nefarious, bro. He's wicked, man.
So if you get injured in college like that and you can't play your senior year or whatever, you can't play anymore? Like, do you think you can't get drafted? Like, what happens?
What happened was, okay, I'll tell you my situation. So now I'm stuck. I remember talking, I don't know if you were there, Reg, but I think it was Mockley, AJ. I think you were there. We were talking in private. We had to talk in private, Sal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Careful of who we were talking to and where we were talking, because if it got back to him, he would axe us. He'd take us. He was that dude, right?
Yeah, he would weaponize that. He would weaponize that.
He would, and this is what he would also say. He'd be like, if any of you can remember this, if any of you guys are struggling, if any of you guys are having a hard time off the court, grades, if you're having a hard time, you know, understanding what we're trying to do here, or if you're having a hard time playing for me, please, with a big smile on his face, please come talk to me. Please come talk to me. Come to my office and talk to me. And you put that meant.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he's genuinely trying to help you. He's looking for a reason to get rid of you.
Yep. And remember, Mockley went to go talk to him. Moxley, he heard that spiel, and Moxley went to go talk to him to express that he wanted more minutes and whatever. And that dude undressed Moxley in front of the whole team. But he didn't say, he basically brought us all in, and then he sat there and talked to us about, some people aren't happy on this team and they aren't happy. But he kept looking directly at this dude.
Wow.
Yo, man, it was so uncomfortable.
And you know what he also said? He said, "You're a con, Moxley. You're a con." You know,
that's right.
You're saying that to a 19, 20-year-old kid.
Yeah, man.
Trying to make sense of everything. Do you remember when we had Tim? Remember Coach Tim?
Tim Harrison. Yeah.
Everywhere. See, everything's coming back to me now. We had those team buildings up in the mountains. Remember that?
Yep. I still got that picture from my junior year.
Yeah. Okay, so we'd have these team buildings, and this is
retreats or whatever.
Yeah, retreats. He wants us to get everything out on the table, but it's like, why would I? I don't want to incriminate myself.
Right.
That's how you felt, right? At the same time, he's taking shots at you here and there. That was his thing. You take shots at you, jabs. You know, you're already dealing with confidence. You're already trying to be confident and be patient. You didn't play last game. You didn't play 2-3 games in a row.
Right.
And then he encourages you when you make a good play in practice. So now you're thinking, oh shoot, he's gonna play me, but you don't play. And then at the same time, he's just taking jabs at you left and right, playing these mind games with you and stuff. It was just really difficult. It wasn't a great environment.
Right.
I remember him, Mahershala. I can't remember if it was our sophomore year or my junior year. And you correct me here, but I remember Mahershala saying it in the team retreat, in that group discussion. He said, Coach, part of the biggest reason why I made this decision to sign at St. Mary's is because, you as a Black man, a successful Black man.
Yep. I remember that was our junior year.
Our junior year. Do you remember that? I don't remember the entire conversation. I remember him saying that. But so he says that and some other things, really trying to reach out to Coach Kent. Mm-hmm. Coach Kent turns around and says, I understand that, Mahershala, but, I have my own family to take care of.
Woo! And that's when we all should have got up and walked out. Yes, I remember that. 100%.
Okay, so, hey, I tell that story. I can't tell you how many times I tell that story when I was overseas to some of the Americans. One in particular, a guy by the name of Chamberlain Oguchi, who plays for the Nigerian national team. Guess who he played for at University of Oregon?
No way. He played for EK.
Okay. And you know what? Same shit that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Talking about.
Wow.
You're talking about how many generations later, right?
Right.
In his 20s, probably early 20s, and I'm in my mid 30s by this time.
Right. Yeah. And he's talking about the same thing. Dude, that retreat, oh man.
That's crazy how it's still happening.
Crazy.
It's still happening.
It's crazy. Because you think about where we, like you said, we're young. We're 20-year-olds, right? 21-year-olds trying to figure this thing out. And the thing that we don't have a lot of at that time is time. So I was just thinking about this today, about how many games
you didn't have a father figure.
Exactly. Yeah. And so when you think about your college career, if you're lucky, I'm gonna go with an even number. If you're lucky, you can play 30 games, right? 30 games your freshman year, 30 games your sophomore, junior, senior year. What's that? That's 120 games, right? 60 plus 60, 100. You only have 120 games to make the most of your athleticism, right? Your opportunity to play well, to do the thing that you love to do. And when you have somebody who's playing games with you, mental games, right? And it's an emotional, because you're in school. So you have academics, and then you have your relationships with people, with your friends, and then you're trying to figure out your interpersonal relationships with girls, but you're also trying to figure out how to manage your schedule. I got to get to class. I got study hall. I got this class. I got this test. I got this paper. I got everything that all the other students have, but I also have this other thing that requires a lot of my time, energy, and effort, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And I'm dealing with a guy that's playing games with me. Like Ali just said, yeah, you haven't played. I'm trying to keep my spirits up. I haven't played for 3 games in a row. You do something good in practice and you feel like, okay, maybe this is going to be the catalyst to get things going, right? I can get back into what I'm doing. or what I do well. And then the opportunity comes and it passes again, and you don't get an opportunity. You only had 120 games. That's how many games now that are gone, right?
Right.
That concludes part 1 of our episode with Ali Peak. Tune in next week for part 2. Thanks for listening to Spitballin', and we'll see you then.